أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It is a great prestige and honor and privilege for me to be present here in the start of G4 course. By the grace of Allah, G4 Tilawat improvement course for Muta'allimat, for Lajna learners. It is repeated, it is conducted every year, and most probably in January. And this is a course which is delivered in English. Now, as this is the Tilawat improvement course, it is very important that from the outset, from the very beginning, we should know that what is the significance, importance, and impact of learning or teaching the correct pronunciation of the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran, which is we all know very well, and we propagate, we preach that this is the final law of Almighty Allah. And for the whole uh, Muslim Ummah, this is a great source for spiritual, moral, and even worldly guidance, the wisdom in these verses. And when we preach these wisdom or the beautiful teachings of the Holy Quran, then this book does not only relate to the Muslim Ummah, but to the whole of the humanity, because it is called Hudal Linnas, that this is the great guidance for the humanity. Now, the recitation of the Holy Quran is not only a ritual, it is a form of worship to Almighty Allah. It is a source of guidance. It is a form of creating a connection with our Creator, Almighty Allah. And to recite the Holy Quran in perfect manner, in the best manner, and that is called with the rules of recitation Tajweed. It cannot be ignored. Because when we recite according to the rules of recitation, which has been handed over through generation to generation in the last, since the time the first revelation came into this world through the Prophet Muhammad SAW, it basically ensures the sanctity of the holy text and the purity of the text. Now today, by coincidence, is the 6th of January. So I would be just, because this is a vast subject, but I would be just very briefly highlighting the 6 points, because today is the 6th, so I would say, okay, no problem. The 6 points I would like to briefly touch upon. First of all is that through reciting the Holy Quran properly, we basically preserve the divine message. The Holy Quran has been revealed in the Arabic language, and the words of the Holy Quran are the exact expressions of Almighty Allah. And the true pronunciation, the right pronunciation, ensures that we should be able to recite each letter, each word, each verse of the Holy Quran as it was intended in the divine plan. Because the wrong recitation, or without caring the rules of recitation, could change the meaning. It can distort the message. It can create misunderstandings and maybe some manipulations in the minds of those who are mischief. So through the right pronunciation, we ensure the sanctity and the purity, and we then keep up the original essence of the Holy Quran. The second point I like to mention that reciting the Holy Quran properly increases our spiritual connection with our Almighty Allah. When we recite the Holy Quran properly, following the rules of recitation, it touches the heart, and which is indescribable, because the vocal beauty of the Holy Quran is so much when our soul is aligned with that beauty. And if we know the meaning after that, then this is Nurun ala Nur, light upon light. And it gives us a great connectivity with Almighty Allah. The beautification, the beauty of the Arabic words, its rhythm, the Quranic words, the rhythm, the melody, that is a great experience for the listeners of the Holy Quran. And it also promotes a deep relation with the word of Almighty Allah, Kalamullah. And then it becomes a great spiritual experience for all that, which is embedded on reverence and inner peace. That is the product of these spiritual experiences. The third point I like to mention that when we recite the Holy Quran properly, following the rules of recitation, then it fulfills our religious obligations as well. Because for the Muslims to learn the rules of the recitation and to put their heart in the recitation, meaning full concentration, seeking the pleasure of Almighty Allah, is a religious obligation upon the Muslims. Because the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam put emphasis on the correct pronunciation of the Holy Quran, and he taught his companions through his own recitation, through his sayings, that how the Holy Quran should be recited, where it should be paused, and its rewards, and what care should be taken while we teach that, or while we access to this beautiful asset. So all have been mentioned in by the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when we recite the Holy Quran properly, in order, basically, we are taking part in the preservation of the Holy Quran and in the propagation of the Holy Quran, and being a dot in the great line since it started from the cave Hira. The fourth point I like to mention that it promotes the unity and the uniformity. Now we know that Muslims, they have the linguistic and cultural background, common cultural and linguistic background because of the Holy Quran. So when they, regardless of their mother language or their particular culture, when they recite the Holy Quran, then in a unified manner, basically they are worshipping Almighty Allah, and they are serving the cause of the Holy Quran. And this unity crosses the borders and the frontiers, and the universal brotherhood is created by through this one. I would say that whether a person from Asian countries or European countries or even Arabic countries. So in Arabic countries, they have their mother language. Arabic is their mother language. But if a person from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, or any part of the in Africa, Ghana, or Sierra Leone or Nigeria, when they recite the Holy Quran following the rules of recitation, nobody can judge that this is from a Asian country, this voice is from Asian country, this recording is from Africa, or this is from Arabic country, unless we know them, their features, their photo. But the recitation is so perfect because we follow the standard of rules of recitation. And when they are followed and the proper teacher is available, then it is very, very difficult to make a difference between that this is from that front, this is from that across the border. It's not like that. So this is the great unity and uniformity. And the fifth point I like to mention, that the right pronunciation of the Holy Quran is not only the recitation of the Holy Quran, but it has an impact on our daily prayers and other prayers as well. And the right pronunciation makes sure that our prayers whether silent prayers or vocal prayers, as we know that Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha are the vocal prayers where the recitation is made aloud, especially in the congregation, because our main objective to be congregational, offering the congregational prayers. So anyway, this enhances the standard of our worship to Almighty Allah. It creates a closeness to Almighty Allah. And when we recite the Holy Quran properly, the words itself are so powerful that our mind is inclined towards its rhythm, its beauty, and that these are the divine words, and the deep inner peace is achieved through that one. Finally, sixth point I like to mention that by reciting the Holy Quran on daily basis, it promotes a personal connection with Almighty Allah, with His divine words. So, learning the recitation of the Holy Quran is a and continues, because that was his a great spiritual hobby, a obligation. It is a source of self reformation and self growth, and also the discipline and the continuity and the connectivity which is achieved through this practice. And then because the Holy Quran demands a lifetime commitment. It's not only one day or 1 week or 1 year. It is a lifetime commitment. When a person starts reading Qaida from the first dot, Alif, Bata, and continuity reciting the Holy Quran, one nas, we start again. And that continues. That is we move through circles. So in short, I would like to say that the correct pronunciation of the Holy Quran, its impact, its significance and importance upon our life, daily life, our collective life, congregational life, family life, could not be underestimated, undermined, because it gives us a great um, a source to preserve the divine message of the Holy Quran, our relationship with the Holy Quran, with the divine words, with the Almighty Allah. What are our obligations? When we recite the Holy Quran, we know that its translation. And when the Holy Quran is discussed silently or vocally in our life, the quality of life is improved. It promotes unity. It enriches our worship to Almighty Allah and our personal link and personal growth. And when we do that through proper following the proper rules, and then we then teach and preach these beautiful tradition, then a sense of responsibility in the generations to generations also increased. So I would like to say that by the grace of Allah, this course now has started, and all participants should make sure that they attend all the classes, not only for minutes, but the whole class from the beginning to the end. They should, because they have the limited classes this time, because we have only some weeks, because Ramadan is coming. So we have to summarize the course. So if there are 15 classes or 16, all classes should be attended very well. And the surah which has been focused, G4 in charge mentioned about that Surah Yasin, chapter number 36, has been fixed this year for the practice, for the reflection. All attendees, please make sure that it is important that we should read the Holy Quran as far as possible, correct manner, in beautiful manner, but we should also read its translation as well. The translation is available in now in English, in split word translation. Its running translation, idiomatic translation is available. Its commentary is available. Tafsir, exegetical notes are available. So we should please make sure that you should take benefit of that. So your concentration should not only be on reciting the Holy Quran, but in your spare time, in your personal, as a personal commitment, you should read its translation word for word, and its then translation in sentences, and then its commentary, because it is a very, very, every surah is very high is in the meaning, compact in the meaning. But remember this surah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, Yasin wal Quran al Hakim. It, from the very beginning, it introduces about the Quran, that this Quran, the one uh, who approaches the Holy Quran, who takes the Holy Quran in his hand, in his heart, then it will give that person hikmah. Al-Quran al-Hakim, Al-Quran the wise, that the Quran, when it is approached with sincerity and the purity of the heart, it must fulfill that person with wisdom, and a layer of wisdom will be given to him. So it is very important that only 5 rukus are here. You should know the meaning of that, meaning what the subject matters, and also cooperate with the administrative members of this class. And finally, I would like to say that you should have your personal copy of the Holy Quran. In this time and age, when if there are 4 or 5 members in a family, or 3 members or 2 members, even bigger family, 7 members, everybody this time need, because that is the need of time, they have their own mobile phone. Okay, and it most of the time it remains with them. I would say that the Holy Quran is far greater an asset, that we should have our personal copy, that not a copy that everybody is reading. Yes, there should be a copy, or everybody should be accessing, but you should have a personal copy. Everybody should have a personal copy, even a simple reading of the Holy Quran, or a Holy Quran with a translation. Because when you have a personal copy, you should make a note on that one, as was the practice of the Holy Promised Messiah. So everybody should have a personal copy, and whenever you gift anything good to your friends or to your relatives, to anyone, the best gift is the copy of the Holy Quran with your prayers. May Allah bless this class manifold. And now I ask you to please join me for the silent prayer, and after that, a normal proceeding of the class will continue. Dua kar le. Ameen, Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah Hafizah for your words of wisdom and guidance. So we'll now begin our class. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to G4 recitation class for Muta'allimat. I'm your teacher for today, and I will be assisted by the teacher assistant and the support teacher throughout this session. And as it was mentioned, it's a Tilawat improvement class. So inshallah, by practicing and applying the rules that you learn here in your daily recitation, you will inshallah be able to improve your recitation. So before we begin, please ensure that you've signed in with your correct ID. So your IDs were sent to you in the reminder email. So it starts with G4 and then followed by a number. And make sure that your camera is switched off and that your microphone is off as well. And the support teacher will unmute you when required. We'll now proceed with the assembly, which includes Tilawat, Hadith, and Malfuzat, followed by a little quiz to enrich your understanding. And during assembly, the support teacher will call out your ID on mic, and you will get a notification to unmute yourself. So if I could request the support teacher to unmute a student for the Tilawat, please.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. The first ID I'm going to unmute is G4704.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. If you could start with A'udhu Billah and Bismillah. Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Carry on.
Yes, please.
ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. Our Lord, in Thee do we put our trust, and to Thee do we turn repentant, and towards Thee is the final return.
Jazakallah. And as you can see, it's been highlighted here. It's the prayer of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam and his companions. Jazakallah for coming on the mic. We'll now move on to the Hadith. Support teacher, if I could have a student on mic.
Yes. Next ID is G4719. Could you please unmute your mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. If you could start with the Darood Sharif.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. عن أبي هريرة قال قال رسول الله ليس منا من لم يتغنى بالقرآن. Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who does not recite the Quran melodiously is not from us, nor not on our way. Al-Bukhari number 7527.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
And now we'll move on to the Malfuzat. Again, if I could have a student on mic, ST.
I would request G4728 to unmute her mic.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, saying of promised Messiah, peace be upon him. He who desires scholarly advancement should read the Holy Quran with contemplation. Seek guidance where it is difficult to understand. If some concepts are not comprehensible, seek guidance from others to be beneficial. The Holy Quran is a vast ocean of religious knowledge, containing precious and priceless gems beneath its surface.
Jazakallah. That was beautifully read. Now we'll move on to a short quiz. It has 5 questions, and the teaching assistant will conduct the quiz. If I could ask the TA.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So now we are going to start the quiz, and the ST will unmute a student to answer. So the first question is, which of the following is not an attributive name of the Holy Quran? Options are A, Al-Kitab, option B, Unity, option C, Shifaun, and option D, Kalamullah. ST, can you please unmute a student, please?
Yes. G4737, could you please unmute your mic?
Assalamu alaikum, G4737.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Could it be D?
Kalamullah, which is not an attributive name. So it is Unity. Kalamullah is an attributive name of the Holy Quran. Jazakumullah for trying. So now we move on to the next question. When is a letter called Sakin? A, when it carries a Dhamma. B, when it carries Madda. C, when it carries Shadda. Or D, when it carries a sukoon? ST, can you please unmute a student?
G4749, could you please unmute your mic?
G4749, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I
When
guess it's D.
D, when it carries a sukoon, that's the correct option. Jazakumullah. Well done. Now the third question is, how many chapters or surahs are there in the Quran? Is it A, 112, B, 113, C, 114, or D, 115? ST, can you unmute another student, please?
G4785.
G47.
Is that the
G47. Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu
Alaikum salam.
I guess it's C, 114.
Jazakumullah, mashallah, well done.
Okay. And student, could you please tell me your ID?
That was G4785.
No, she was the different one. Okay. Anyways.
So the next question would be, to which country did the mother of Prophet Ismail alayhi salam belong? Is it A, Egypt or Misr, B, Persia or Fars, C, Hijaz, or D, Syria or Sham? ST, can you unmute another student, please?
G4750. Please
G4
unmute your mic.
750. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Honestly, I really don't know the answer. Maybe A. I have no idea.
Okay, but that is the correct answer. It was from
Oh,
well done, Jazakumullah.
thank you.
Jazakumullah. Okay, then this is the last question. How many doors of hell are mentioned by the Holy Quran? Is it A, 5 doors, B, 9 doors, C, 3 doors, or D, 7 doors?
G4711. Could you please unmute your mic?
G4711. Assalamu alaikum.
G4711.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I think it's D.
Mashallah, well done. It is the correct answer. So it is 7 doors. Jazakumullah. So that was today's quiz.
Jazakallah to you. Now I'd like to quickly take you through the sign-in process to join the G4 class in the correct manner. So just to make sure that you are all sign in with your correct ID, otherwise it gets really hard for the support teacher to recognize you and record your attendance. So when you open Zoom and you click on this join a meeting option, and then that's where you enter the ID. And sometimes it automatically takes your device name. So you have to make sure that this is where your ID goes, like G9, G4, 714 or 7, whatever your ID is. And then you tick these boxes, remember my name for future meetings, so then you don't have to type in again for every class. And you have to tick this option, turn off my video. And moving on to the next one, when you join, obviously make sure your ID is correct, and then you enter your password, and then you click on join meeting. And lastly, you can click on, after you've joined, you can click on this option where you have participants. You click on manage participants, and if it's not the correct ID that you signed in with, then you look for your name in the participants, and you can check if your ID is correct, and if it's not, then you need to rename yourself. And how to rename is if you hover the mouse next to your name. So for example, in this example over here, if you hover over the name, there will be an option coming to rename. When you click on that, then you can rename your ID. And if you have any questions, you can always email us at taqwa@ahmadiyauk.org. And also you can find all these recordings on YouTube at the Talimul-Quran UK YouTube channel. Jazakallah, that was the quick sign-in information. now we will begin our today's lesson. So, today we will be focusing on the Tajweed rules, mainly covering the basic errors and its effects, and the understanding the types of errors in recitation and mastering the strokes and marks. So, there are two types of errors. Lahan Jali, which is the major errors, and Lahan Khafi, which is the hidden errors. Now, the major errors is the one which cause a change in the meaning of a word. And this can be easily noticed by readers of the Holy Quran. Whereas hidden errors, Lahan Khafi, is the errors which affect the vocal beauty of the Arabic accent. And this can be noticed by those who are well versed in the rules of Tajweed. So they are the two types of errors that we have to remember. So let's talk about those errors now in detail. Error number 1, it says mispronouncing a stroke. So, for example, in the first example over here, it's an'amta, and the second is an'amtu. Just by mispronouncing a fatha and mispronouncing it as dhamma, you can see how this has led to the change in meaning. Because an'amta means you blessed, and an'amtu is I blessed. So you have to be very careful when you are reciting, because mispronouncing a stroke can lead to a different meaning, and this is a major error. The second error is to shorten or prolong the vowel mark of a letter. So it's pronouncing a short vowel like a long one, or a long one like a short one. For example, in this example here, we have qala. La is meant to be just single vowel. Whereas qala, you see the meaning has changed. Qala means he said, and qala, they said. Because you've prolonged the vowel mark of a letter, this has changed the meaning. Moving on to error number 3, that is to change a sakin letter to a mutaharrik. So, for example, qaf is a sakin letter in here because it's carrying that sukoon. Khalaqna, this means we created. And if you, let's say, change that sakin into a mutaharrik letter with a fatha on it, khalaqana, this means he created us. Again, this causing a change. So you have to be careful with these letters as well. And rule number 4, or error number 4, is not making a difference between similar sounding letters. This can again lead to a change in the meaning, because as you can see here, they are both qaf. But the first one, well, the birth will be pronounced slightly different. Qul and kul. Qul means say, and the normal kul will be eat. So you have to be careful when you're pronouncing the similar sounding letters. So it's important to learn the correct articulation of those similar sounding letters. So now we're going to look at the Arabic letters. There are 29 Arabic letters, as you can see on the screen. And the ones that are highlighted in red, the 7 letters in red, are pronounced with thick and heavy sound. And they are called tafkhim letters because they are pronounced with thick and heavy sound. Whereas the letters in black are tarqiq letters. They're pronounced with thin sound. And when it comes to alif and hamza have identical sound when they carry any stroke, any fatha, kasra, dhamma. And alif without any stroke is obviously called alif. But alif, when it carries a stroke like fatha, kasra, or any other stroke, it is called hamza alif. And then we're talking about the similar sounding letters, because some Arabic letters have similar sounds. So it's important to differentiate them. So as you can see in the first example over here, they are similar sounding letters, but they are pronounced slightly different. Adha and azza. And then likewise, tha and sin sound is different. Qa, they both qaf are pronounced slightly different. And same with ta and ta. So you have to be careful with the similar sounding letters as well. So as we've seen, there are 29 letters, and so it's important to pronounce each letter from its correct place. These are the articulation points of Arabic letters. As you can see on the screen, there are 5 sections. It's been divided into 5 sections. The first one is ash-shafatan. So the letters ba, fa, mim, and waw, they are the ash-shafatan letter. They are because when you pronounce those letters, it engages lips. The second is al-lisan, the letters that are pronounced from your tongue. And then we have al-khaysum, the letters that are pronounced that come from the nasal passage, mim ghunna and nun ghunna. And al-jawf is the letters that are pronounced from the mouth without any stroke, alif, waw, and ya. And then the rest of them are halaki letters, the ones that are pronounced from the throat. So they are all those 29 letters have been divided into these 5 sections. And now we're going to look at the strokes and marks. The first one is mutaharrik. So a mutaharrik letter is a letter bearing a stroke, fatha, kasra, or dhamma, and they are pronounced for 1 second or 1 count. As you can see on the right, the examples given. And then a maftu letter. A letter bearing a fatha is a maftu letter. A letter bearing a kasra is a maksur letter, and a letter bearing a dhamma is a madmum letter. A letter bearing a sukun is a sakin letter. As you can see on ta, it's a sukun, so it's a sakin letter. Then you have tanween or munawwin, identical double strokes, pronounced like nun sakin. Then we have mushaddad letters, a letter bearing a shadda. As you can see, this is the stroke of shadda, so it's a mushaddad letter. And lastly, we have al-harakatul ishbaya. So the long vowels, they are pronounced for 2 seconds or 2 counts. As you can see on alif and on la, it's the kasra ishbaya and fatha ishbaya. They are pronounced for 2 seconds. So these were the strokes and marks that we had to cover. I can take 1 student on mic for practice. So if I'd like to request the support teacher to unmute 1 student, please.
Yes. I would request G4750 to unmute her mic.
G4750.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. If you could start with and recite the first line for me after Tawuz and Tasmiyah.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Taba Kulu Daraba Rafara Toba'a Ghafara. Right?
1 more time.
Ghafara.
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 Yeah, Jazakallah, and well done. Here you identified the similar sounding letters and you differentiated them. So one is taba and the other one is toba. And also they are the tafkhim letter, the ta and this u. Jazakallah. And looking at the time, I think we'll now move on to the surah practice, Surah Yasin. So I will hand the mic to hand over to the TA.
Jazakallah. Let me share my screen, please. I hope it is visible now. So, Assalamu alaikum students. In Surah practice segment, we will be practicing the recitation of Surah Yasin. Let me show Surah Yasin to you. Yes, this is the surah. We will be practicing in all of our classes in this segment. And before calling our first student to the mic, there is a little information about this surah. You can find Surah Yasin in part 22, وَمَن يَقْنُتْ. And Surah Yasin is the 36th surah or chapter of the Holy Quran. Okay, I think there's a mic, unmuted mic. And Surah Yasin, because it was revealed on Holy Prophet ﷺ before Hijrah, so it is a Makki or Meccan Surah. It has 84 verses altogether. Okay, so now I would request ST to kindly unmute a student for recitation practice.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I ask G4704 to unmute yourself?
G4704, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Could you start the recitation with Ta'awuz and Tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم.
Jazakumullah. Well done. Okay, in verse 2, you recited these disjointed letters. Do you know about these letters?
It's single. Do I have to read it singly?
Yes, without making their sound. We just name these letters, and these are called hurufe muqatta'at or disjointed letters. Okay, and there are 29 surahs or chapters in the Holy Quran which start with hurufe muqatta'at, and Surah Yasin is one of them. Okay, and in verse 3, and this is a soft sounding letter kaf. So I felt you pronounce it with thick sound. So could you try verse number 3 again? Try reading verse number 3, please.
وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ.
Yes, we had to distinguish between two qafs. One is the thick sounding qaf and other one is kaf. So there is a little difference in their sounds. Okay. And do you know about this sign la on top of the verse?
Is it you can or can't stop here?
You shouldn't stop here, but when you find it on top of a verse, you can stop, because it was the sunnah of Holy Prophet ﷺ that he used to stop and ponder on each verse. So we can stop here. Otherwise, whenever you find this la sign alone without any verse mark, you should continue. Okay, because la mean mamnu'ul waqf. Okay. And we shouldn't stop on this last sign. Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, mashallah, well done. You recited well. Jazakumullah. ST, can we have another student?
Can I ask G4713 to unmute yourself?
G4713.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, could you start the recitation from verse number 6 from here?
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا
Jazakumullah. Jazakumullah. Well done. Okay, you recited well, mashallah, but there are a few corrections, just a few. Here, could you pronounce this word again?
تنزيل
Okay, here, noon sakin will be pronounced with a light nasal sound, okay? Tanzila,
تنزيل
tanzila, like this.
تنزيل
Yes, good. And in next verse, I felt you prolonged this short stroke, fatha stroke, which is on top of ra. So we just learned that short strokes take only one count or 1 second to be pronounced. So the short stroke should not be prolonged. Okay. So could you try pronouncing this word again?
أنذر
And again, known as with light nasal sound. Zero.
أنذر
Yes, inshallah, we will learn ikhfa rule in our upcoming classes. And okay, how did you pronounce this word?
لا
La. So, should we prolong this or we should follow a short stroke only?
yes we should follow
Yes.
a short stroke. Yeah.
Short stroke of fatha is followed by alif, so we should prolong it for 2 counts, so 2 seconds at least.
Okay.
Okay, so Jazakumullah, G4 713, well done. ST, can we have another ID, please?
Can I ask G4719 to unmute yourself?
G4 719, Assalamu alaikum.
Shall I start?
Yes, you can start with Tawuz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون.
Okay, Jazakumullah. I think we should discuss this verse before moving on to next verse. Here in verse 9, on the word fi, you stopped. Okay, but if you wanted to continue, the rule is that you give a meaningful start to the verse, okay, or to the words. So you could repeat a few words to make the sentence meaningful. Okay, so you can try. You could try from starting from fi again. Okay, so how could you read if you start from the word fi?
في أعناقهم.
Jazakumullah. And there were some mistakes of pronouncing consonants with some jerks. So here, Ghain is a sakin letter. It is not a jerking letter. And again here, Zal is a sakin letter here, not a jerking letter. Not a jerking letter. It isn't one of jerking letters. So there shouldn't be a jerk while pronouncing these letters. أغلالا.
أغلالا
And
الأذقان.
okay, if you are starting the part of verse from here, what do you think? Which stroke alif should take? Fatha.
Fatha, yeah.
Blank alif always takes fatha when it is followed by lam. Okay,
Yeah.
so it is al-azqan, not az. Okay, so zal will be pronounced here without any jerk.
Okay.
I think that's it. Jazakumullah.
Jazakumullah.
So we are left with a few minutes. So I think I should give the mic back to our DT.
Jazakallah, TA. So, Jazakallah for your participation. Please revise these rules and practice them regularly. Inshallah, this will improve your recitation and deepen your connection as well with the Quran. We'll now move on to the concluding prayer. Today I will be reading this, and inshallah next time we can have a student on mic for the prayer. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني عبدك وابن عبدك وابن أمتك ناصيتي بيدك ماض في حكمك عدل في قضاؤك أسألك بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك أن تجعل القرآن ربيع قلبي ونور صدري وجلاء حزني وذهاب همي. Translation: O Allah, I am your servant, the son of your servant, and the son of your maidservant. My forehead is in your hand. Your command concerning me prevails, and your decision concerning me is just. I call upon you by every one of the beautiful names with which you have described yourself, or which you have revealed in your book, or you have taught to any of your creatures, or which you have chosen to keep in the knowledge of the unseen with you, to make the Qur'an the delight of my soul, the light of my heart, and the source to remove my grief and sadness, and dispel my anxiety and fear. Ameen. Jazakallah. Jazakallah for your participation again. And this is the end of our today's class. Inshallah, see you in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.